go into this, I'm seeing first thing going live, Scott Agnes come out saying Fever guard Caitlin Clark will not play tonight versus Portland Fire. I'm told it's part of a strategic management plan for the season. What is that? What is that, fam? Tonight is the Fever's fourth game in 8 days. What is this, man? Y'all had everything fine, and then all of us...
That announcement landed hours before tip-off and sent Fever fans into chaos. Caitlin Clark scratched from the lineup against the Washington Mystics on May 20th. The reason given? A strategic management plan. But here's why that explanation is raising every red flag imaginable.
All right, but man, this is what y'all said on the 19th, yesterday. All right, let me go down and show y'all. May 19th, y'all said nothing was wrong, okay? You said no interest. Then we go into this. I'm seeing first thing going live, Scott Agnes come out saying Fever guard Caitlin Clark will not play tonight versus Portland Fire.
The day before this game, on May 19th, the Fever's official messaging said nothing was wrong, zero concerns. Less than 24 hours later, Clark suddenly has tightness in the lower part of her back. Fourth game in 8 days. And the timeline between those two communications just doesn't add up cleanly.
To see Caitlin Clark, you got to give some type of notice. I had somebody in the chat saying they spent $3,000 trying to see Caitlin Clark and she wasn't even playing. That's tough, man. That's tough, all right? But this hurt, okay? This hurt. Hopefully she comes back when we play the Valkyries. We need her. We need her for the Valkyries, all right?
This is the real cost of late-breaking injury news. Fans spending $3,000 on tickets, flights, hotels, parking, food, everything, all to see one specific player. When the team waits until game day to announce a scratch, those people are left with a souvenir ticket and a long drive home. The Fever organization has a transparency problem, and it's burning trust with the exact audience that's making this league explode in popularity. Remember that detail about communication, because it becomes the central issue later.
But it don't matter because she's cooked. She's cooked. You're not stopping AB. This is the ballin' AB, always ballin', big baller Boston. This is exactly who we have this year. And Caitlin is going to dominate with it. Look at this block. Beautiful block. Why she come down and knock down the three? She's like, here, give it to me. I got your help. I got your help. Don't worry about it. Here come the screen. Boom. Look, open play right here. Wide open. Take that. Don't hesitate. Bang. This is what I'm talking about.
But here's the part nobody expected on a night this team was supposedly hollowed out. Without Clark on the floor, Indiana put up 90 points and beat Washington by 17. Aaliyah Boston dropped 24 on 8 of 11 shooting, knocked down 2 of 4 from 3, went a perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line, and added 8 rebounds with 2 steals and a block. That's an all WNBA first-team stat line in a game everyone assumed was a write-off. And the offense ran through her almost every single possession.
I mean, Allen was going to work out there. She was going to work. I love it, man. Ty, look at the defense on Ty. Ty was facilitating. 6 assists, no turnovers, keeping it clean, baby. Give it to Raven. Raven, going all the way in. Come on, man. She don't need a glass. Just let her drink it from the jug. Let her drink it from the jug. No glass. Beautiful work. Look, Allen quarterbacking. Look at this. Boom. Pocket pass, lint all over the floor. Okay, Allen.
Then there's the defensive story that's getting completely buried under the Clark drama. Indiana forced turnovers across every position, generated steals from the guard and forward spots, and held a competent Mystics offense to 73 points. Kelsey Mitchell added 21 points on 6 of 11 shooting with 4 assists and 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. Lexi Hall shot a perfect 100% from the field for 16 points and 8 boards on her birthday energy type of night. This wasn't a fluke performance. This was a coherent team identity that exposed something Indiana has been hiding behind Clark's usage rate all season.
Defense was there. All our bigs got a steal and a block. Let me see. Boston, 2 steals and a block. Allen, a block and a steal. Mo, a steal and a block. This is the defense I need to be seeing. This is the defense I need to be seeing, man. Shout out to him. AB, 24 points, 8 for 11, 2 for 4 from the 3. Took care of the line, 100%, 8 boards, 3 assists with 5 turnovers. Take care of the ball. Take care of the ball. 2 steals and a block. Come on, man. Cooking. Kelsey Mitchell, 21 points, 6 for 11, 2 for 3 from the 3, 7 for 9 from the free throw, 2 boards, 4 assists.
Now look at the rotation contributions one layer deeper. Because this is where the story actually lives. Ari McDonald running the point dropped 7 assists with 0 turnovers. Sophie Cunningham had a quiet night going 1 for 5 from the field, 2 points and 2 boards. Natasha Howard added 9 points off the bench with 4 rebounds. Damiris Timpson grabbed 5 boards on a single shot attempt, doing the dirty work nobody tracks. Every player who touched the floor contributed something measurable to the box score. The bench wasn't a liability for a single rotation. The supporting cast actually showed up. And that raises an uncomfortable question about why this team has looked so disjointed in games where Clark plays the highest possible minutes.
That she made a shot from the wing. Come on, man. Izzy be knowing some things, man. I don't know everything, y'all. All right, I don't know everything, but I be calling some things, dog. The same way I said the offense need to go through AB, they started off that way. I said, what does AB do for Kelsey Mitchell? She sets the screen, Kelsey Mitchell comes around, she shoots from the elbow, she shoots from the nail. That's exactly what started happening with Kelsey Mitchell. Come on, man. This was just beautiful work. Let's see, 45 from the field, 32 from the 3. They didn't shoot that well as a whole, and like I said, I think it came from Raven, but 86% from the free throw.
The offensive scheme tells the whole story for anyone willing to watch the tape. When Boston operates as the screen and roll hub, when she sets at the elbow and runs dribble handoff actions, the entire floor opens up for everyone else. Mitchell gets clean looks at the nail. Hull gets corner threes from defensive collapses. McDonald finds cutters for layups in space. The Fever shot 45% from the field, 32% from 3, and 86% from the free throw line. That free throw number matters more than people realize because it indicates aggressive downhill play, drawing contact, getting to your spots in the paint. This is not a finesse offense. This is a physical, paint-attacking team when it's coached correctly. And that brings us to the question everyone's been avoiding.
You a long way. But yeah, I do want them to continue to allow Raven to play through her mistakes, play through bad games, allow her to keep playing. Allow her to keep playing. She had 1 assist and 3 turnovers and a block. Allow her to keep playing, man. I like that. She's going to get better. But we got beat in the paint with points. That's crazy work. We got beat in the paint. Our fast breaks, we got to finish the fast breaks, right? We have to do better with that. Overall, yeah, the defense was better than I expected to be. Offense was better than I expected to be. Not mad, man. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about this game in the comment section. I love you.
Here's the part of this story that's going to make Fever fans uncomfortable, but it needs to be addressed directly. If Indiana can put up 90 points without Caitlin Clark, if Aaliyah Boston can drop 24 on 60% shooting when she's the focal point, if Kelsey Mitchell can score 21 efficiently as a secondary option, if Lexi Hull can shoot 100% from the field running the wing in spot minutes, then what has actually been the problem all season? The numbers tell you something the eye test has been screaming for weeks. This team has talent up and down the roster. The defensive intensity is there when they commit to it. The offensive sets work when they're run through Boston instead of forcing isolation possessions. So why has this group looked so chaotic, so dependent, so reliant on one 23-year-old guard carrying impossible workloads through a brutal early season stretch? Because the system has been organizing the offense around the wrong fulcrum. When everything funnels through Clark's playmaking, the defense knows exactly where the ball is going on every possession. When she's not generating shots in the half court, the spacing collapses and Mitchell becomes a low-volume role player who only sees the ball in transition. Boston gets relegated to the dunker spot and never touches the rock above the free throw line. McDonald disappears. The whole machine grinds to a halt, and you get those 70-point performances that have fans pulling their hair out on Twitter every weekend. Tonight reorganized everything from the ground up. Boston ran the offense as a screener, as a roller, as a handoff hub working out of the elbow. McDonald and Mitchell played off the ball in actions designed to create advantages, rather than waiting for someone to manufacture one for them. Hull moved without the basketball and got rewarded with open looks from the corner and the wing. And the result was a 17-point win against a Washington team that is not a pushover in any sense. Now layer in the context of the injury controversy that opened this game. Scott Agnes, a credible and well-sourced Indiana beat reporter, broke that Clark would be out hours before tip-off with that strategic management plan language. The team's official messaging the previous day on May 19th said nothing was wrong with any player on the roster. The discrepancy between those two communications, less than 24 hours apart, is the entire transparency problem in microcosm. Either the Fever knew Clark was dealing with back tightness on May 19th and chose not to disclose it publicly, or her status genuinely changed overnight after a sleep incident she described herself. Both explanations carry real implications. The first means the organization is being deliberately opaque with media and paying customers. The second means their medical communication protocols are reactive rather than proactive, which is concerning for a player who just completed her 4th game in 8 days during her sophomore season at the highest usage rate in the league. And let's actually talk about that workload honestly. 4 games in 8 nights for a guard who gets hammered every possession by physical defenders, who travels between cities on commercial flights in some cases, who fulfills media obligations no other player in the W has to navigate at this volume. The strategic management plan language from Agnes's report isn't accidental phrasing, that's load management. That's the WNBA quietly admitting that the current schedule combined with the attention on Clark requires preservation strategies the league has frankly never had to think about before in its history. The bigger picture matters even more. Indiana plays the Golden State Valkyries next. And that's a game where Clark's presence shifts the entire outcome calculus. The Valkyries are an expansion team, still finding their identity through the early weeks. The Fever should win that game on paper. But if Clark is still managing back tightness, suddenly a manageable matchup becomes a stress test for the depth this team just demonstrated against Washington. What this season is going to come down to is whether the coaching staff can replicate what happened tonight on a consistent basis. Because the talent is clearly there. Boston playing at this level changes what's possible for Indiana's ceiling entirely. Mitchell as an efficient second option is a 50-win team's profile. Hull as a 3-and-D wing who can shoot 100% on a given night is an absolute weapon teams build playoff rotations around. McDonald as a connector point guard who can play make and defend is exactly the veteran piece championship teams need in big minutes. The question isn't whether this group is good enough. The Mystics game answered that question definitively in 2.5 hours of basketball. The real question is whether the staff can build an identity that doesn't collapse the moment Clark sits, doesn't isolate Boston in the post when she should be running pick and roll at the elbow, doesn't relegate Mitchell to spot-up duty when she's clearly capable of being a primary creator in stretches. And the question for the front office is even bigger than the on-court adjustments. How do you protect Clark's body for a 40-game grind that wasn't designed for this kind of star usage? How do you communicate honestly with media and fans when scratches happen with hours of notice? How do you avoid having paying customers spending $3,000 on tickets and finding out at the arena that the player they came to see is in a warm-up suit on the bench? So I want to hear from you directly in the comments below. Was the Fever's communication on Clark's injury status acceptable, or did they bury their own fans with a last-minute scratch announcement? Should the offense run through Boston as the primary action even when Clark returns to the floor? Is this team better or worse than you thought after watching what they did to Washington on a night nobody expected anything from them? Drop your honest take in the comments. Smash that like button if you want more breakdowns like this one. Subscribe so you don't miss the Valkyries preview and the post-game analysis dropping later this week. Indiana is going to be a story every single night this season. The only question left is which story we're going to be telling by the end of it.